Bene, buonasera. Incominciamo allora a parlare di come va la space economy in modo differente da una parte o dall'altra dell'oceano, ovvero sia Europa e Stati Uniti d'America. Ok? Parleremo in qualcosa che possiamo chiamare inglese per, per gli ospiti che ci sono. Okay, thank you very much. The topic is the difference of space economy in Europe and the United States. Is there any difference or not? In Europe, we have big problems with the launch of a rocket at this moment. Okay, very big problem. We have Ariane 6 is not working. Will be in the 24, and the Vega C, the other European rocket, is not working. Will be in 24. On the other side, we have SpaceX with more than 100 launches in this year. So it's a kind of monopolist. I'm being very, very impressed from the fact that SpaceX will launch Amazon satellite. Okay, it is very, very, very incredible. We have in Europe. We have had for decades, for many, many years, an important philosophy that is the geopolitical return of money. Okay, so France put a lot of money and must have back. Okay, this has been very, very important because several nations have been able to develop know-how in space with this one. For example, Denmark, a small nation, 5 million people. Okay. Spain, very big country, but not having not important know-how. Basic know-how about space. Now it's a problem because, as we said yesterday with Roberto Vittori, if I want to buy a coffee with the space agency, I have to agree with 22 people that want the same coffee. So, okay, it's not working. From the other side of we hope to be able in the next year to develop a private and public philosophy, but we are not at this moment. On the other side, SpaceX, also with the new big rocket for the moon, is overshadowing the other suppliers, as for example, Amazon, sorry, I don't remember the name of the company, Boeing, etc. We want to understand now, and this untangle a very important question. Where the hell is finished the innovation? True innovation in this scheme. Is all okay? Is a perfect, Italian fantastic, etc. SpaceX is fantastic. But where the hell is true and free innovation? Okay, so if you agree, we can have the video. Okay.
Hello, I'm Lori Leshin, Director of NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory. I'm sorry I can't be there in person with you, but would like to thank the organizers of the NSC for the opportunity to share a few words with you from sunny Southern California. Our motto at JPL is Dare Mighty Things Together. We know no one person alone can send a rover to Mars, solve climate change, or uncover the many mysteries of our universe. It takes diverse teams and immense collaboration to accomplish what many think might be impossible. Collaboration is at the heart of what we do, and we deeply value our partnerships. For decades, NASA has been working with OSSI, with ESA, and many international partners in the room with you all today. And I'm proud to say we've shared incredible joint achievements. OSSI has been our partner for some of space exploration's most consequential missions, including the Cassini-Huygens mission to Saturn, the Dawn mission to asteroids Vesta and Ceres, and the Juno mission to Jupiter, and even the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter to, you guessed it, Mars. OSSI instruments are credited with revealing the surface of Titan through a dense atmosphere, discovering buried ice in the Utopia Planitia basin of Mars, and identifying cyclones around the poles of Jupiter. These discoveries not only advance scientific understanding of the solar system, but have sparked the imagination of millions of people all around the world. Earth and space science missions continue to be challenging, both technologically and programmatically. And of course, as we know, there's never enough funding to go around. And so as the global space economy evolves, we know we have exciting new opportunities to push the boundaries of innovative missions, of technology, of research that address humankind's most fundamental questions. Strong international, commercial, and industry partnerships will be key for us to overcome obstacles and achieve our mutual goals of pushing the boundaries of exploration in space. We recognize the immense potential of sharing resources, sharing expertise, and innovating together. And that dynamic collaboration means we can be more effective and efficient than ever before. We're excited about the future and are committed to helping the new space economy thrive. In the US, we've seen companies do extraordinary things and look forward to the innovation and advancements we will achieve in the coming years together. We value the global ecosystem and want to see it grow, and we look forward to future partnerships. To close, I'd like to mention that we recently welcomed a delegation to JPL organized by the Italian Trade Agency to meet members of our team and witness our work in action. I hope we'll have more opportunities to host many of you at JPL in the future. You are always welcome. Thank you, enjoy the conference, and let's go explore. Bye.
Okay, I'm sorry, but the video started because immediately, so I can introduce a posteriori Professor Laurie Leschen, that is scientist and academic at the professor at Caltech, but especially is the 10th director of the NASA JPL, and the contribution was in this sense. Okay, now it is time to know what about Frank Webb. What about Frank Webb of the topic? Frank Webb, on my right, is program manager at the JPL from 33 years, is especially devoted to health science. Is a program manager of a program GRACE of Earth Science, and chief scientist of NASA Geodesy program. So please, you have the floor.
Thank you very. Is that working?
Bravo.
I'll take this one. Thank you very much. I'm really honored to be here. I really am happy that we can have this time to chat. I want to follow up a little bit on what the director from JPL said, Dr. Leschen, about our commitment and the way we work in partnership with other space agencies and with industry to ensure that we can create the missions and make the discoveries and add to the general economy of the world through space exploration and space observations. We at JPL, as Dr. Leshin said, we have lots of partnerships, and pretty much all of our missions have partnerships. There's nothing that we do completely by ourselves. I think that's something that's changed over the years. We've moved more towards a mission paradigm where it's not all handcrafted and built at JPL. The missions use in commercial and industry capabilities, as well as engineering design expertise at JPL. And when we think about, JPL is mostly known for planetary exploration, Mars exploration. And in those areas, we're doing missions for inspiring, understanding our place in the universe, what's with the meaning of life, are we alone? These really big generational questions. That's on the one side. On the other side, on Earth observations, we're also very focused on understanding Earth system science and how their system is working, but there are also more practical results. Our Earth system science has, we do it as well as just for scientific understanding, but also for benefits to society and benefits to humanity. So we have this complete spectrum from very inspirational to much more practical benefits from Earth space technology. And in doing these, we, as Dr. Leshin said, we partner with other space agencies, OSI, the German Space Agency, and the Indian Space Agency, and others around the world to realize our dreams together. And in those partnerships, we form partnerships with industrial partners to help make these missions realizable within the budget and schedule constraints that we have, and to meet the needs that the mission is demanding. And so through that process at JPL and in the US, we have these partnerships, providing services. We also have partnerships where we're also working on technology and capabilities together, where we maybe have some technology capability developed at JPL that we then work with an industry partner to advance further. And then in the end, when it's met our needs for our primary mission, because our goal is to do first of a kind type of missions. The technology gets transferred to industry, which then goes off and uses it for other applications. We mentioned Space Geodesy. When I started at JPL, we were developing GPS to be a very precise positioning system. The technology we developed is now used in everyone's phone in this room to give you a precise position of where you are. And these are real advances which have had great impact on humanity, but which started from the standpoint of just scientific exploration and understanding how the world works. I think with that I can pass it on. If there's any other questions?
You have a second.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you. First of all, Frank, thank you very much for flying all the way from Los Angeles to be with us. And the message of Laurie Leshin, JPL Director. The Italian Space Agency was born in 1988, and the collaboration with JPL historically was an essential part of the beginning of space in Italy, and especially with the Italian Space Agency. Now we are in the era of the new space economy, and sometimes we forget that we are. Seems that everything has changed and nothing has changed. So the question is anything really changed or not? So let me talk about my experience as an astronaut. I flew in 2011 my third space flight on the shuttle that was a NASA asset, managed by NASA. Boeing and the others were subcontractors, so industry was still involved. However, the program managers were NASA. I flew out of the Kennedy Space Center, that is obviously was a NASA facility, exactly from the ramp 39A. And the launch was under the authority of the US federal government, okay? Now I want to fly again, but if I ask Luigi to talk to NASA, NASA will say, well, unfortunately, we are no longer what we were. Now, instead of the shuttle, there is the Falcon 9 with Crew Dragon, that is a private spaceship, if you go to ramp 39A, have you ever seen it? Now it's private. It's, Elon Musk didn't buy it. It's, I don't know, 30, 50 years lease. And the authority is the Federal Aviation Administration. So everything has changed, the way we do business. This is true for everything. So that creates a question. What is, that is more or less the reason for this short panel that is only half an hour. What is the new space economy seen from the US and seen from Italy? Sometimes those elements get very confusing because one of the reasons of the confusion that one of the most important customer is still the government. So from some standpoint, there is no change from how it was and how it is. And when you try to go on the open market, on the stock market, you have surprises, like Richard Branson that back in 2019 went to Wall Street. And the Wall Street was so excited that the evaluation of the company was 8 billion. And now they ran out of money and they had to end up getting a loan. And if you see the stock was a suborbital trajectory, started from 10, went up to 60, and now is almost getting to the critical value of 1, below which it will disappear from Wall Street. So what's going on? Is the space economy exist or does not exist? I believe these 3 days is an opportunity to try to brainstorm and try to see what is the real space economy and what are the real new markets. For example, we are now talking a lot about private stations. Private stations, yes, it's a potential market, but very small market. So where are the opportunities? They are on where you can extract resources and energy, starting from the surface of the moon. So, and that is obvious. There will be, in the next few days, people from the US that are really into this business. So let's go back to JPL. What it was is still what it is. The difference is how the technology then can really get into those new startup, new companies. What is the Italian version? Italy is very different. We have startups. SpaceX was a startup in 2002. Back then were 3 people, Elon Musk, Gwen Shotwell, and Jonathan, I forgot his last name. One of the 3 was a millionaire. He wasn't a billionaire back then, but still a millionaire. That makes a difference for a startup. If one of the founders have the possibility to put money, that kind of money on the table. For us, it's different. So the Italian model that I see is the key word is innovation. It's very difficult, however, to work with the word innovation because we tend to do the same that we have been doing in the past. So innovation inside the university, startup, and then for a startup in Italy to grow up is very, very challenging. It's challenging in the US as well. But again, the size of the investors, the willingness of the investors in the US is much higher. So the Italian model and the US model are very different. And now, obviously, we can talk bilateral, we can talk multilateral, but it's already difficult bilateral. Multilateral would be almost impossible, so let's stay bilateral. One of the reasons for which I think Laurie Lesch's message today and your presence here is very important is because Italy started in bilateral with the US. San Marco launched on the Scout X4 from Wallop Islands. and there are some synergy as it will be. The challenge now is again to continue the cooperation in this new era of the new space economy. That's why I keep bugging you and to say we need to insist in sending our student researchers, PhDs, to JPL, because the capability that you with Caltech have to create new technology is very important. At the same time, on our side, we really want to continue to work with you also on an industrial level, so that we maybe do the hardware and you do the payloads and we do science together. Leave the floor.
Okay, thank you very much. The suggestion is to discuss after some years what actually is new space economy, okay? And now it is time for Marco Villa, that I think is online. Hello, Marco.
Good evening.
Good evening. Chi è che fa effetto Hall, scusa? Nessuno. Ok. Sorry for the Italian. Okay, Marco Villa is a director of mission operation and developed and managed the operation of the Dragon spacecraft in the framework of SpaceX. The Terran is now able to give an end-to-end satellite operation, so this is very important. Can you give us your idea in 5 minutes of the space economy and the difference
Sure.
between you are the best person to tell us the difference between USA and Europe?
Well, I appreciate that comment. I'm not sure I'm the best person, but I certainly follow with Frank and Roberto something providing a different perspective, which is the industrial perspective. Lucky enough to have been Italian, but all my professional career has been in the United States, and lucky enough in that professional career to live the 2 or 3 times that passage between traditional institutional approach to space into a more commercial and innovative and now defined as space economy or new space approach. The first one you mentioned was with SpaceX in the early days, in which I was able to craft the entire mission that now it's fully commercial, but from day one was fought to become commercial, of Dragon to the International Space Station and back, and for cargo and now crew, but also in the world of satellites with my current company, the Terran Orbital, in which we have leveraged on the changing mentality and changing approach of the US government primarily and the commercial world all around us to be able to create a service that is needed to fulfill other people's plans, other people's business plans. And that's really, if you allow me, that's really one of the biggest differences or one of the biggest concepts that is important to portray when we talk about anything that has to do with space economy or the future of space or thereabouts. Space economy is nothing else that the same things that happen in any other industry, creating a market-based economy that in our case happens to be around space infrastructure, services, travel, satellite services. And the nugget of not a secret, but the nugget of diversity lies on the fact that market-based economy has commercial rules. And I cannot underline enough how that is maybe one of the biggest difference between what happens on one side of the Atlantic, the US, versus the other side, Europe in general and Italy in particular, since we're talking about that today. The embracing the fact that commercial rules allow for thriving and the development of new technology, new approaches, processes, education, that can then be implemented into the space industry in a nice, virtuous circle. That's the main nuggets. In Europe, in Italy, but also in other countries, there is still a tendency of belief that everything needs to be well constructed and well regulated and well understood ahead of time. And that often causes a stagnation, that often causes a delay and a restriction of what actually a lot of the entrepreneurs or a lot of the technologists or business people and scientists would like to do or could do. And there are multiple examples of how that has changed. And through the years in the US, it has not changed yet, but it will. It's inevitable in Europe as well. And so you see the possibility of giving to the government a different role, giving to the institution a different role. I always like to say, instead of pulling something within their constraints and within their roles and their rules as well and framework, institution and government becomes more of a push to allow commercial sectors to instead define their own ways to achieve the goals and fulfill the services that are being asked to do. That little switch, which in the United States, we lived both in the time, as you say, of the COTS and CRS and CCDEV, so the ISS, right supply, cargo and crew now. And in the world of the military satellites, if you think recently about the SDA creation and the Space Force and the way that they are purchasing services right now, if Italy and if Europe can learn to adapt that and trust into that methodology, I think there are no boundaries to what it can achieve. And that gap that you describe, and it's the topic of today, diversity between the two, will be closed very, very fast.
Okay, thank you very much. So we have time for a second, very fast round.
Can you? Okay, that works fine. I also follow up on what I've heard about services and SpaceX and these other aspects, and on the U.S. side. I mean, services are really, the future for Earth observations is providing meaningful services for intelligence about how the Earth is changing, about how things are evolving on the Earth. And it's very important that those services come to market quickly. I think in the past, things came to market very slowly. And as things have progressed, they probably get a little slower because everyone wants, our governments, when they invest a lot of money in a mission, they want to ensure more risk. And so they provide more, they apply more engineering, more mission assurance, and things kind of slow down. But that's totally the opposite of what we really need. We need to be able to get services to market quicker. And things like the factory assembly line spacecraft, which are coming out that support things like SpaceX and OneWeb and these other missions, and easier access to space through SpaceX's these commercial opportunities, are really changing the way we view Earth observations. Companies like Planet and these other companies who can get observatories up very quickly is very important for not just stimulating the economy, but also the space economy, but also providing those services which then stimulate the broader economy of the world by providing intelligence information that is needed for a whole host of activities, from positioning to agriculture to weather. And so my impression is over the last several years, things are starting to accelerate towards faster onto orbit. But I would say before then, they were slowing down. And I think quicker access to space and these non-custom but factory assembly line spacecraft are really helping that.
Okay, General Vittori,
Yeah.
I didn't introduce last time Roberto Vittori, but anyway, it is mandatory. to remember that Vittori has been 3 times in space in 2002, 2005.
2002, 2005, and 2011.
11, okay, with Marco Polo, Soyuz, and the Endeavour, okay? So, the time is over, but we wanted to know.
Time is up, but a short comment.
Yeah.
I'm very happy to be here with Marco Villa because something that has been going on during the time frame that I wasn't flying, I was a space attaché, especially in the US, the military space. So now space is civilian space, agency space, military space, and commercial space. Those are the 3 main identities. And especially the military space is really booming, okay? And security and defense. We talk about the next level of satellite platforms. So especially seen from the US side, we are really living a condition of a Cold War seen from the satellite platform. So it's really a huge interest. We need to find a way to achieve the capability to make platforms that will be multiple compatible with different payloads in a production line. This is one of the really game changer that would open it up to the real markets. I was saying before, what was the problem of Virgin Galactic was they tried to bet on the wrong market. Space tourism never existed, never will exist. The low Earth orbit stations, private stations, is a market but very small. So where are the markets? This is very important, obviously, because if we want to talk about space economy, new space economy, we want to understand. In the long term will be for sure the resources outside the atmosphere starting from the moon. The other huge market is on the satellite platforms that will be all similar as a platform, but with adaptability and capability to put multiple sensors. Marco Villa is one of those that has this vision and is really an excellent leader to hopefully he will help not only in the US but also in Italy. Thank you.
Okay, Marco Villa, your last statement, last and certainly not least. Okay, we have said another time.
Really appreciate the comment and too nice, Roberto. Thank you very much. And I share with JPL. We hosted a very nice Italian representation recently in our facility in California, and that was a great meeting of the minds and showing them some of the things that Roberto was mentioning and I've been mentioning about industrialization and flexibility with scalability of satellites. I just say, I mean, my last comment is very simple. I always like to go back to the basics. This is something that has helped me throughout my career, and some of my mentors always told me. And the basics for Italy is very simple. It's got everything that is needed. It's one of the few countries that actually has got an incredible capability and filiera, to use the Italian term, supply chain that actually allows them to tap into all the different diversity of industries that help with space. I really just think it needs a tweak, and it needs to bring back also some of that very true, pure national pride of making sure that everybody that are the new, young generation, I used to be one of them, and I had to leave, to be honest with you. I really work endlessly, and a lot of people do, in the room even today, to inspire the new generation to stay there. And what we have to do, big companies, small companies, institutions, is very simply bring back the national pride for them, make them believe that we are a nation of startups, and that we want to enable all those startups to actually fulfill their own dreams and not constrain them with artificial beliefs that we have because of our experience, and fuel them, keep on letting them go. And if you do this, and you just keep on doing it over and over, and you change the way to purchase items, and we go from telling them what to do to tell them what we need, and you give an equal chance to everybody. These are just very, very simple aspects that enable the US to develop the way they have. It's enabling Israel to develop in a complete different way in new space economy. It's enabling Japan to do that as well. So it's not just the US. If Italy can embrace that, oh my gosh, brace yourself, because it's going to really become the, reclaim again the role of the third country in the world when it comes to a spacefaring civilization. So thank you very much for the time today.
Okay, thank you, Marco. Thank you to all the other speakers, and thank you to the public. You have been heroes to arrive to this moment late in the afternoon. Thank you very much. I hope that we have given, not me, but the speaker, some point to discuss what actually is innovation in the framework of new space economy. Thank you very much.